We all know that our C sub k has no term consisting imaginary numbers, which is j. That's why I just put 0 here. So in your advanced mathematics subject, complex numbers, we all know that if you have this equation, the terms on both sides consisting con consisting imaginary numbers is equal, and the terms on both sides of the equation that does not consist imaginary number are also equal. So therefore, our a sub k, which doesn't have imaginary number, is equal to the term on the left side that doesn't have an imaginary number, which is this one. So our a sub k is -1 raised to k plus 1 over pi times 1 minus k squared. And our b sub k is equal to 0 because there is no term consisting imaginary number on the left side of the equation. So we already get a naught, a sub k, and b sub k. So substituting it to the trigonometric form, we get this equation. So we are done in the trigonometric form. Lastly, combined trigonometric form. This is our formulas that we're going to use to get the combined trigonometric form. We already get C sub k and C naught on the earlier part, so we're just going to use it. In getting the magnitude of C sub k, so by the way, this one is magnitude of C sub k, not absolute value. So this is magnitude, and this is the phase angle of C sub k. So first, the magnitude. In getting the magnitude, we will just going to use this equation. Square root of a sub k squared plus b sub k squared. So again, substitute the values of the two, substitute, solve it, and this is our c sub k. Next, the angle. Theta sub k is equal to negative arctan b sub k over a sub k. So this is the formula to get the angle, phase angle. So substitute b sub k and a sub k. We all know that negative arctan 0 is 0. So our angle is 0. So we get c sub k and theta sub k. So we just going to substitute it to our combined trigonometric form. Substituting it, 2 can be cancelled out. 2 can be cancelled out. You can remove this 0 because it doesn't have a value. So our combined trigonometric form is this one. So we are done in the first part. Just going to erase it. So our different Fourier series form of half-wave rectifier, the exponential form, the trigonometric form, and the combined trigonometric form. So next, root mean square voltage or RMS voltage. So the formula to get the VRMS is square root of 1 over t integral of x of t squared dt. So substitute the fundamental period, which is 2 pi. Substitute the piecewise function. Cancel this one out because it's just 0 sine squared. So in solving this integral, we will going to use trigonometric identities to solve. Sine squared omega t is equal to 1/2 times 1 minus cosine 2 omega t. So let's substitute omega to 1. So that's why 1, 2. This is part of the identities. So I'm simplifying this equation. We can multiply this constant. So it will become 1 over 4 pi integral of 1 minus cosine 2t dt. Integrate it with respect to t. And this is the answer. Next, substitute the time interval from 0 to pi. So we will get that form. Sine 2 pi is 0. So we can cancel this one out. 0. Sine 0 is also 0. So we'll cancel this out. So the term will become square root of 1 4 pi. 1 over 4 pi times pi. We can cancel out pi. And square root of 1/4 is 1/2. So our VRMS is 1/2. So next, use MATCAD application to validate the derived Fourier series formulas through graphical representation. So just put the exponential form in MATCAD and just determine the values of the coefficient. So A here is just the amplitude of our wave. So I use 1. So that's why the amplitude or Vmax is 1. So you can manipulate it on your preference. Additionally, in graphing half-wave rectifier, we add this expression, A halves sine omega t, because half-wave rectification does not remove the fundamental sine components. Even though the waveform is distorted, it still oscillates once per second, and the sign is very important. So if you remove this one, you will not get the half-wave rectifier signal or waveform. So this is just an additional term for us to get the waveform. But our exponential form is present. So that is for the exponential form. Next, the trigonometric form. Again, we add this term, A halves sine omega t, to get the graphical representation of the trigonometric form. And lastly, the combined trigonometric form. So, as you can see, all our equations are correct. All the waveforms are the same. So we can conclude that our computation is correct. There is an additional way to know if your equation is correct by using those methods. So next, use an application in simulating an electronic circuit that will produce a half-wave rectifier. So in your electronic subject, we all know that this is the configuration of half-wave rectifier. Um, diode allows current in one direction only. So if positive cycle, not positive cycle, if it's forward bias, the current will pass through the diode. That's why this is our output signal. There is an signal that pass through it. On the other hand, if it is reverse bias, the diode will not pass through the current, so our output signal is zero. So that is a half-wave rectifier. That is the circuit. So to validate our circuit, um, we will use it through an actual laboratory implementation. The materials needed are resistor, 1K ohms, and diode, oscilloscope, and linear circuit lab for the breadboard and frequency. So this is the laboratory implementation. Just connect the diode and resistor in series and put on input voltage and frequency, connect it to the oscilloscope, and this is it. So we can conclude that our circuit in this application is the same to our actual laboratory implementation. So that's all. Thank you.